Hello, I am Debbie McKeever, founder and owner of Strong and Healthy Temple. Welcome to my YouTube channel. It's a nice day out today. It's between sunny and cloudy. I think I'll actually close this blind because the sun decided to come in and make like a strange glare as soon as I started to record. Anyway, today I wanted to speak on a subject that I already recorded a podcast for, but I kind of wanted to talk about it from a different perspective here, and that is praying without ceasing. And the first thing that we have to do when we think about prayer is we have to look at it from the right perspective. And you might think, there's no way that you can, pray, 24 hours. You can't, it's not possible for you to pray without ceasing. And when you think about it, prayer is just really, it's communion with a higher power, and whatever that higher power is for you, God, source, universe, Buddha, Allah, whatever. And it's really just communion. But more than anything, it is a mindset. What it's not, and it's probably easier to talk about what it's not begging for, things that you want or things that you need. Prayer is not begging. I say that all the time. But as I stated, more than anything, it is a mindset, and it's being in an attitude of thanksgiving and gratitude, basically. And again, it's just communion, and it's not necessarily that you have to be having a verbal conversation as much as you need to have your mindset right. And so it's inner conversations, because you are always having inner conversations. There's always conversations going on in your mind, even when you're not aware of it, so subconsciously. And so the thing that you have to do is that the reason why you have to shift your mindset to a point that your mind is right is that you want to use prayer for the right thing. And the right thing for prayer is, what prayer is really used for is to shift the atmosphere. And so that's why we want to pray without ceasing, because we want to shift the atmosphere to a place of love and to a place of peace and harmony. We want the world to be harmonious, and we want to be harmonious with the things around us, and most of all be harmonious on the inside, because everything happens on the inside and then it makes its way to the outside. And that's the importance of mindset shifting. And prayer, it's kind of like it is with health. Prayer is a preventative measure and not a safety net. And so it's kind of like, again, it's like with your health, where you want to live the type of lifestyle where you try to prevent illnesses and diseases. So you want to eat right, and you want to move, you want to do some form of exercise, and also having the right mindset too, when it comes to your physical health, because your mental health can actually have an effect on your physical health. Drinking a lot of water, things like that. And so that type of thing is considered to be preventative for either minor or major illnesses, as well as diseases and chronic diseases. And so the prayer works the same way, is where you want to pray without ceasing, so that you're not caught up in a situation where you find yourself in a downward spiral, and at that point prayer then becomes begging, because you're in a desperate situation. So we don't have to wait for a tragedy to pray. We're always praying, even when things are great. And the idea is that we shift the atmosphere to the point that things are great all the time, and then we just continue to have that prayerful attitude, where we continue to make sure the atmosphere around us is harmonious, and that is the purpose of praying without ceasing. Because I think for a lot of people the idea is that you pray when something is wrong, and you pray when there is a tragedy, or when somebody is sick, or you pray for people when they're grieving and things like that. So it's always looked at as something tragic has to happen before we pray. And a lot of that too is it comes from a religious mindset, where it's almost taught in religious settings that you pray as needed, and things like praying for the sick and shut in, and praying for people when they're in the hospital, just praying for any kind of tragedy or mishap. And so a lot of times people will seek out opportunities to pray, and we really don't have to seek opportunities to pray. The opportunities are all around us, whether things are going bad or good. Is the point, is that is the point of praying without ceasing. We are to always pray. There's always somebody who's going to need us to pray. And life happens. Unfortunately, the world right now is not harmonious, so there are people in the world who are hurting. So you don't need to go out and to seek an opportunity to pray. You just automatically pray. And I was talking about in my podcast episode that I made, where I was talking about how when someone is on my heart, I just pray for them naturally. And it's ironic that when I pray for people, what happens is they end up reaching out to me to tell me in confidence something that they were going through. And it's a good thing that I was obedient to go ahead and pray for that person in advance. Like, you never really know who you're praying and interceding for. There have been times in my life where I've prayed and interceded for people, and it literally saved their lives. And I never even mention to them that God had me praying in a specific situation, because it's not for show and tell. And again, I think that's a religious mindset. And people are like, they want to be seen and heard, because I see these people that seek out opportunities to pray. It's like kind of like they're looking for something to be wrong, because their mindset is that something has to be wrong to pray. I've had people that have come to me and asked me how everything was going in my life, and when I said everything was going fine, it's almost like they didn't believe it, or they were fishing for something to pray for. And I make it very clear that I'm always open to somebody praying for me. Pray for me whether things are good in my life or whether they're not. I mean, first of all, it's none of your business if something is going on in somebody's life. If God has placed it on your heart to pray for somebody, just be obedient and pray. I mean, everything could be going well, but somebody could be setting up a snare or a trap, in the spirit realm. It could be some demonic force that's trying to come against them. Like, you don't know why God is asking you to pray, and it's really none of your business. Like I said, just pray. You don't have to seek opportunities to pray. I've had people say things like, well, I just love to pray, and well, I love to exercise, so I don't need an excuse to do it. I just do it. And it's the same thing with prayer. We don't need an excuse to pray, so you don't have to go around trying to tap into people's business and things like that. And a lot of times in those instances, people may have things going on internally, and because misery loves company, sometimes people can't accept the fact that just because they're not at peace, that other people are at peace. So you have to be careful with that. And sometimes people are just, trying to, get into your business and things like that. But anyway, the purpose of this video is just, let's all just, be in an attitude of prayer. And the way that I do it, for people, that I love, as well as for myself and anybody that I'm praying for, what I do is that I hold a vision for that person. And when I say hold a vision, I'm talking about, imagining for them. I'm imagining for them their best life. I'm imagining that they're in perfect health, that they have perfect wealth, that they have perfect success, that they're perfectly happy, that their life is completely fulfilled and full of joy. I hold that vision for them, and that's the type of mindset that I have, where I hold that vision for myself as well as for others, as well as for the world around me. And that's what we're to do. We're to hold that vision for perfection. I know people always say, well, you can't expect for the world to be a utopia. You can't expect for the world to be perfect. Well, why not expect that? Why expect for the world to be, chaotic? I mean, if the world is completely chaotic, why can't it be completely perfect? It's like when you read the Bible story of Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden. In that period of time, everything was perfect before what's considered to be the fall of man. When they ate of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. So, and I don't know what type of fruit it was. People say, that Eve ate an apple. I mean, if you're probably familiar with that Bible story, even if you've never read the Bible. But anyway, the point is, at that point in time, the world was a utopia. So why not hold a mindset and hold a vision for the world as, to get back to that, to that perfect place. And I think that if we would all just pray without ceasing and pray the right way, and again, the right way is just to have the mindset and to hold the vision, and to know that prayer is just communing and having an attitude of thanksgiving, and knowing that the things that we desire are already done, and just believing that, and shifting the atmosphere to the point that those things come into fruition, we can have that harmonious place again, like the Garden of Eden. But anyway, with that being said, I'm going to wrap it up. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you like it, please give it a thumbs up. I would love for you to subscribe to my channel, share the video with your family, friends, and network. Thank you so much for watching. Make it a fantastic day and week.